There's more to imagine when you listen. So let your imagination soar with Audible. Audible has audio titles from every genre that will inspire you to imagine new worlds, possibilities, and ways of thinking. As an Audible member, you get to choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog. Enjoy an exciting reawakening of a beloved classic with the Audible original David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, produced by Academy Award-winning director Sam Mendes, starring Ncuti Gatwa, Helena Bonham Carter, and Theo James. This adaptation breathes new life into a familiar tale. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500. That's audible.com/imagine or text IMAGINE to 500-500.
Worried about letting someone else pick out the perfect avocado for your perfect impress them on the third date guacamole? Well, good thing Instacart shoppers are as picky as you are. They find ripe avocados like it's their guac on the line. They are milk expiration date detectives. They bag eggs like the 12 precious pieces of cargo they are. So let Instacart shoppers overthink your groceries so that you can overthink what you'll wear on that third date. Download the Instacart app today to get free delivery on your first 3 orders, while supplies last. Minimum $10 per order. Additional terms apply.
Canva presents a work love story like no other. Meet Productivity. She's all business.
The Canva doc is done.
Creativity is more of a free thinker.
Ooh, whiteboard brainstorm.
They're worlds apart, but sometimes opposites attract. Thanks to Canva.
The data is in the deck.
And now it's an animated graph.
Canva, where productivity meets creativity. Now showing on computer screens everywhere. Love your work at canva.com.
Welcome to How to Survive, the show that teaches you how to survive the stuff that can kill you.
Like being attacked by a claw hammer, or having a bad husband, or being jumped on the street.
No thanks. And the stuff that just makes you wish you were dead.
Like doing a tour in high heels, or putting your shoes on the wrong feet, or wearing the wrong jacket.
I do all of this in the same day.
I know. I'm going to jump you.
Well then, let's play the theme song.
Let's.
Ground is shaking under our feet. Mountains on fire, flooding in the street. Can't breathe the air, can't fight the feeling. Gobbling down Xanax ain't the way to be dealing. Gotta do better than just getting high. We gotta stick together if we're gonna survive. How to survive. How to survive.
Welcome to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Kristine.
Kristine, how are you?
I'm great.
Good. You look great.
I do?
Yeah, you look really happy and healthy and pretty.
Thank you.
Fresh
my
as daisies.
Keep it coming.
It might be because we had a restorative trip.
We did.
Over the weekend. For my birthday, we went to
Central Coast.
Hearst Castle.
2 tours.
We took 2 tours because that's how much of a nerd I am. I wanted to get 2 experiences. So we took the Grand Rooms tour, which is the
big house.
The big house where you get you get both the pools in both of them, but the dining room, the day room, they called it, the game room.
Yes.
And the front room, that first room was like not a living room, but like a, what do you call it?
Sitting room?
Sitting room. Yeah.
You get a lot of rugs on walls.
Yes.
I don't think they call them rugs.
They call them tapestries.
Thank you.
But they're basically rugs on walls. We kept joking that it was just slightly less ostentatious than Michael Imperioli's house.
Yeah. they went up there and he was like, this
but more.
But more. Make it more.
And we stopped at a requisite adorable breakfast place that had a requisite adorable shop next to it.
Oh, right.
Where we picked up something for Garen.
We did.
Oh.
We got you a little gift.
Little tiny gift.
Oh, my God.
Tell the folks what it is.
Hold on, I have to take off my old man glasses. Filthy squirrel soap. Chipper woodland pine. Handmade in Hawaii.
I know. I'm not sure why, but it was so adorable. We had to
Live nakedly.
What does it say on the back?
That's for the $20 Patreon.
Yeah,
that we haven't set up yet.
Exactly.
You get to see Garen live nakedly.
Wait, now, what is this level for?
Yeah.
When my tail is all clean and bushy, who can resist my nutty charm?
We'll take a picture of you with it. It's too good.
It does smell good, though.
Oh, good.
Ooh,
All right,
you.
we'll do with it
That's
what you will.
nice.
We were
I'll
thinking.
rub it on
yeah.
my body.
Another favorite part of our tour was the adorable, what did I say, 5-6-year-old Indian girl in a quinceañera dress holding a Baby Yoda.
Yeah. Well, I have to say,
It was so cute.
nothing for me. I mean, sure, I love a tour of a castle.
Oh, yeah.
But
the highlight.
the family.
Yeah. There was a family dressed all matching.
In brown and sort of a
It was like a black and
brown.
black and brown.
I would say it was Gucci inspired.
Oh, see, I don't.
Or wait, is it Gucci? I think it's Gucci that does a lot of blacks and browns. Or it's that other fancy purse brand I can't think of that's like 3 letters. But it was very, very black and brown.
Yeah.
The mom had a sweater dress that
Yes.
had big puff sleeves.
Yeah, which I'm a fan of.
And
then brown boots.
and the
Or no, it was a brown dress and black boots.
black boots,
Yeah.
high-heeled boots.
High-heeled boots to take a tour.
And then the daughter also had the same style, but not the puff sleeves
Right.
and high-heeled boots.
Right.
And they were carrying a level of a fancy purse. And the son and the father, and the son who was like 6.
Yeah.
They
Just
both
like a little kid. They dressed in like
black leather boots.
Yeah.
Leather brown jackets.
Right.
And hair slicked back.
Right. And
It was-
khakis.
Danielle said they're like
Everything.
Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
It was really funny. They were like the Schitt's Creek family.
They were like the Filipino Schitt's Creek family.
It was
Yeah. It was
really
fantastic.
amazing. And I was just so sad that we didn't run into them again at
Yeah,
some
'cause
other place.
We wanted to know, is this just for the tour that they coordinate, or is this like a daily thing
they
where everyone
always-
has to...
Oh, goodness.
I didn't realize that was a fashionable thing, those two colors together. It just looked a little bit...
I don't know. I mean,
But you're probably right.
I think it's...
They sure looked like they had money.
I think... At first I thought that.
Yeah.
But I studied them. And I'm...
Well, she's supposed to be looking at the 16th century Greek statues.
I can't look for that long. I have a short attention span for old antiques.
What does your husband do again?
He sells old antiques. And I think that was all H&M.
Okay.
So
All right.
that's...
They still had a rich look about them.
Yes.
To me, they looked moneyed.
I think they were very classy looking.
Yes.
And I'm proud of them
Right.
for putting getting their kids together and agreeing
Yeah, I know.
to wear the same clothes.
I know.
I tried to do
kids.
that.
Well, the young kid, he might have been older than 6. He was no older than 8.
And the daughter was probably 15, 16.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, I don't think I could have gotten my kids to do that when they were 4. My daughter would have been ripping the clothes off and just putting her own thing on.
Yeah, totally.
That's wild.
But they have you do a thing. Well, we didn't do it, but they have you do a thing where you can take like a tourist photo before you go in onto the bus to get up to the Hearst Castle. And it was just so cute to me that this little girl with the big puffy dress and the Yoda doll.
Yeah.
Which of course her mother was carrying for the rest of the trip because there was no way she was going to keep carrying it.
And her mom was dressed up, and
It
then the
was
dad
very
was
cute.
like in
Yeah,
tennis
he didn't get the
shoes
memo.
and- no.
He did not get the
He
memo
was like, I'm
that
not-
the family was dressing up. They should have talked to the other family.
Yeah.
Figured out how to coordinate.
That mom would have put the pressure on.
she would have gotten him in something fancy.
She's like, you don't get to just show up
Yeah.
looking like you're watching sports
Right.
on a big screen.
Yeah, sports.
Sports.
I think they dressed up to impress Chris Hardwick.
Well, he wasn't there. We looked for him.
we did. We looked.
Actually, we asked a lot of questions about that
We thought he'd be hiding behind a pillar.
because I was under the assumption, because on both tours they did say the family, for those of you who don't know, Chris Hardwick, who is a comedian and TV host, and I know him, and I think Chris knows him, and he's been on Never Not Funny. Anyway, I think he's been on Never Not Funny.
Yes.
Anyway, he married into the Hearst family. he married the granddaughter of Patty Hearst, something like that.
Yeah.
She's a model.
Is her name Lydia? Lydia?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, I had heard that they get to stay there, and it was confirmed on the tour that they get to use the pool. However, they don't stay in Hearst Castle.
No, there's another house.
Which was hidden to us.
We kept looking for it.
We kept looking, which I think, did I get this right, Chris? That was they never answered me straight about this question, but that was the house that Hearst lived in with his parents when they weren't camping. I'm still a vacation house, not the permanent house.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I couldn't really.
You were just focused on the tan pants.
I was just looking at different people.
Imagine being so rich that you have a hidden house.
Yeah, they don't own, the Hearst family doesn't apparently own Hearst Castle anymore. It belongs to the state. It's a state of California property.
Yeah, because it's part of the park
system. It's a museum,
now.
yeah.
But they still own the house down at the bottom.
Right.
That
they get to stay in.
Couldn't find because it's hidden behind a hill.
And they get to drink the wine, but not keep the bottles.
Yes, but the wine isn't drinkable anymore.
That's true. But for the time period it was, the Hearst family got to drink the wine, but they'd have to, this is after they sold the house to the state, or donated it, I guess.
Back in the 50s.
Yeah. Right, whenever he died.
I think it was 51.
Yeah, something like that.
So they could drink the wine, but they had to return the bottles.
They had to return the bottles.
There's still a lot of bottles down there.
So there's a lot of full bottles and empty bottles.
It was a pretty cool wine cellar.
We got to see the wine cellar. It was really cool. So.
I enjoyed the other night, Kunk on Earth.
I was going to tell you to watch it. Oh, it made me so funny.
Laugh so much.
Oh my God, it's so good.
It's so good.
So for those of you who don't know, it's on Netflix. It's a faux...
history?
Yeah, like a travelogue or a history log kind of... this woman is, I guess, I texted my friend who I knew would like the show.
Yes.
My friend Sarah. And I said, you have to watch Kunk on Earth. I just knew she would like it. And she was like, oh, I love her. So she already knew who she was.
Okay, I didn't recognize her.
So apparently she has YouTube videos that maybe it's the same premise. I don't know. But it's like she's an idiot who is doing like a history of the world. And, you know, why she's doing it is never explained, like why she would be the person hired to do this.
And she's talking to experts.
Yeah, she's talking to experts, and she just asks idiotic questions. It's sort of like, well, it's kind of like early Daily Show stuff in a sense.
Yeah.
Like they play the idiot. She plays the idiot, and you don't usually see a woman playing an idiot in this way, in terms of like the brash idiot.
Yes.
Who like doesn't have any. It reminds me of
with so much confidence.
So much confidence. It reminds me of like a Steve Coogan type thing. Anyway, she's brilliant. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
She just gets things wrong and has no shame about it. And it's, what was she pronouncing last night? Oh, the Darkages. She's like, so in the Darkages, and the woman's like, do you mean Dark Ages? Is that how it's pronounced? Like it's just very funny. Anyway, I can't do it justice, but watch it.
One more thing I loved, because I finally signed up for Peacock. I've realized I need to watch the show with Natasha.
Poker Face.
I know I need to watch Poker Face, but I was like, I'm not going to start that tonight. Sven's not home. So I started watching the new SNL with the guy like Pedro.
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal, because he's a cutie.
Yeah.
And I like him. And it was really funny.
Did you see the restaurant sketch yet?
I only saw it until the first Coldplay act, and then I had to go to bed. And I was like, okay, I don't need to watch Coldplay. I don't know what happened to them. I mean, you know.
So, but it just sounds like every other.
But before that, I mean, I thought they were really hitting it out of the park. And I thought he was
fantastic.
Funny.
And just so committed to everything.
Yeah.
But anyway. Sorry.
No. I'm sorry.
No, I interrupted you.
I was pretty delighted with each sketch, but then the Wings commercial came on.
Yeah, the Wings kept coming. Amazing.
And I was
amazing.
I mean, I had taken a gummy, so I was a little bit high because my back was really hurting, and I was like, maybe a gummy will help. And I was howling. Laughing.
It's so. They really do commercials.
It just really was hitting the right funny spot for me. So if you haven't seen it yet. I also really loved the game show when he was like, think of 3 movies from the last 5 years.
I know, it was really funny.
I just thought that actual sketch was really funny.
And then it was like Nicole Kidman is in some show.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it either.
They were just listing all these things
that are like huge stars and little tiny things you've never heard of. It was very funny.
And the podcast dig was really funny. She's like, I host a podcast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was funny. Yeah. All right. Speaking of podcasts,
we host one.
Should we get to it?
Yeah.
Or do we have more to talk about?
I do have one thing I have to mention.
Yes.
That on the drive here, someone in front of me had a bumper sticker that said, I heart aging and dying.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
And I continue to be fascinated by this bumper sticker because I get, maybe the first part is like, I heart aging, which is this person who's like, you know what?
I'm going to embrace it.
I'm embracing it. It's happening.
Right.
So instead of being like, it's the worst, I'm going to just be like, it's great because it means I'm not dying. Like, when you say like, oh, I hate having wrinkles, or I hate menopause, or I hate, that I pee when I jump on a trampoline. You could say it beats the alternative, which means you're dead. But like, I hate aging, or I heart aging and dying.
Maybe it's like a 17-year-old, goth kid or something.
I don't think so. It seemed like an older person.
Oh, it was an older person? But they just have a sense of humor.
I guess.
It's weird, though.
It's weird, right? I was curious about your interpretations, if you guys had any thoughts on it. Or if you just think it was a weird joke.
I think it's a weird joke.
Karen?
I enjoyed it. Made me laugh. I slap it on my bus if I needed to, or on someone's Uber.
You slap it on your bus?
You slap it on your bus?
You have a bus?
Are you thinking of getting a bus?
Out of humor. No, because I don't drive. Where am I going to put a bumper sticker? I don't drive.
Slap it on my bus.
You put it on your bicycle.
That's true too. I could do that.
Or you on like a fanny pack that you'd wear on your back.
What if I just sewed it into my pants and it's just there on my butt?
Okay.
Slap it on the butt.
I'll try to get you one made out of fabric.
Yeah, I like it. Let's do it.
Anyway.
Okay.
So we have a really fun episode.
Great.
Are you guys ever concerned that you're going to be in an extreme street fight?
Like in West Side Story? Like with chains and knives? And music?
Sure, yes.
Okay.
Or just not the chains, not the music.
Yeah.
Not the knives. Just you're going to be walking down the street and be jumped.
No.
Garen?
Here's the thing. I hesitate to say this publicly, but I often have junk with me, like a switch, or not drugs, like a switch, or my laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
And
oh my God. I'm sorry. When you said switch, I thought you meant like, go get me a switch so I can beat your ass with it. I thought it was like a stick. I thought you had a stick.
I keep that with me at all times.
I thought he had a switchblade.
Okay,
when he said a switch.
Okay, so
Nintendo
you have
a switch, like a Nintendo Switch or something.
He's just letting everyone know he's packing heat.
So that has crossed my mind, that, or just having AirPods or my phone or whatever. It's like, this could happen anywhere.
Someone just reaches out and grabs your AirPods from your earballs.
Oh, yeah. They could just clock me.
They
and
could do it.
Yeah.
What do you think the first piece of advice is for surviving an extreme fight?
Curl up in a ball and don't fight back.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
The Konami code?
What's that?
It's a video game.
Oh.
Try your best to remain calm.
Oh. Damn. Should have known.
Speak calmly to the person trying to attack you.
Okay.
Take a few deep breaths and speak in a low, calm voice. Let them know you don't want to fight.
Okay.
I mean, unless you do.
Yeah. Maybe you haven't gotten your steps in for that day.
You might be hankering. Mm-hmm. If you accidentally bumped into them, or if they perceived something you did or said as threatening, apologize and let them know you didn't mean anything by it. Try saying something like, hey, everything's cool.
I'm just saying to a 17-year-old guy who's like a street thug, everything's cool, man.
I'm sorry I bumped into you. I wasn't trying to start a fight. I just tripped.
Okay, very specific.
Stall the person by engaging them in conversation or playing sick. Okay. If the person or people still want to street fight you, try distracting them by paying them a compliment.
I like the way you're punching me in the face.
Or asking them for directions. You could even pretend that you're sick, such as by grasping your stomach and acting like you're about to vomit.
COVID.
For example, you might say something like, hey, dude or girl, I love your shirt. I can't fight someone with such great fashion sense. Or, wait, maybe you can help me. How do I get to Willard Street?
Where did you get this
Wait
from?
a second. Okay.
What is this?
This should be noted, guys.
Okay.
I don't have any accompanying data to verify this advice. Okay, so like if this tactic actually works, this is from WikiHow.
Oh, okay.
So like, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows who?
There's
made
no
this up?
like study
right
to support that this actually has worked.
Actually, you might throw them off with these bizarre questions.
Right, 'cause it's so
and
weird.
It might put them on their heels if you're like, hey, love that blouse.
Yeah.
How do I get to the metro? It just,
Yeah. Did you get that on Poshmark? Here's another option. Walk away. If these professional level street fighters have not yet attacked, don't turn your back to them.
Okay.
If they're still threatening you.
Okay.
Like try walking way backwards. Continue to maintain a calm, non-threatening demeanor.
Okay. This is like with the puma.
Yeah, it's like a
Just walk
wild
backwards.
animal.
Yeah.
Or maybe moonwalk. If you can.
Oh, if you have the proper shoes and the surface of the street is correct, sure, why not?
Now, that may constitute serving. So you could start a dance battle.
That's
so
true.
Be careful.
true.
Is that what serving means in this context?
When you get serving is usually just the two dancers are about to go at it, and if someone loses, they got served.
Oh, because in my dance class, I thought it meant more like. Well, I guess I thought it meant more like you're giving it, like you're serving.
Maybe,
but I could totally be wrong.
I'm deep into the dance culture of Los Angeles.
I know you are. You just throw a piece of cardboard down wherever you are and just go at it.
The chunks I bring.
That's right. They're jumping you for your cardboard.
Remind them, reiterate that you have no desire to fight.
Yeah.
Say, I don't want to fight.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave. Warning. Avoid displaying fear, as this may make you seem like an easy target.
Yeah.
Maintain a confident demeanor, but remain calm and non-threatening. Keep your voice low, unless they try to attack you.
Okay.
Here's another tactic. I think this may have come up when we talked about somebody trying to rob you. Throw your purse or wallet far away if they're after money, right?
Right.
And then you run in the opposite direction.
Right.
Okay. Yell fire to attract attention if the person attacks.
Oh.
If the person comes at you, despite your efforts to avoid a fight, screaming fire in a crowded area is a good way to get the attention of bystanders.
All right, so wait, I'm just going to try this out for a second.
Okay.
I love your blouse. Where's the nearest Starbucks? Fire! Okay, I'm trying all the tactics.
I feel like you're really embracing the lessons, and I appreciate this. Scream fire as loud as you can. If the person stops attacking you, then this might be a good time to run away. Yeah, I think so.
Zoinks!
Run towards lights, buildings, or people and call for help.
Yeah.
Look for crowds, buildings, or lights, run towards them. Keep going until you are somewhere safe, and then call for help, such as 911.
Okay.
I think that is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have the opportunity to escape, or if you think you can outrun the person based on their build, then you might try running for it as a last-ditch effort to avoid a fight. Okay. Now we're in this place where none of this has worked.
Okay.
You got to fight.
Right.
All right? I'm going to tell you what you're going to do.
Have you ever been in a fight? Physical fight?
Of course.
I knew it. I 100% knew it. Not with your brothers. I'm saying with like non-relatives.
Yes, I have.
At school?
It was in the street. I've been in a street fight.
Wait, are you kidding?
Did you write this?
No, I'm not kidding.
Okay, what was the circumstances?
I was driving my mom's Camaro with my boyfriend at the time. We had broken up for a while. And we drove past a house with a girl on the porch. She yelled, "Slut." So
she knew you?
Yeah. So I stopped the car and I got out and I said, "Did you just call me a slut?" And she was like, "No, but what if I did?" And I said, "I'm going to kick your ass." And she said, "Well, you can tell your boyfriend I want my underwear back."
Damn!
She was on house arrest. She had an ankle bracelet.
Holy shit.
And we were in the middle of the street. And I was in cutoffs.
Wait, how old were you?
I was 16. She was 15.
Okay.
I might have been.
She was on house arrest at 15?
Yeah. I feel bad now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might have been 17 and she was 16, but she was one of the many girls I think that he had sex with.
So this was a real, she really did know him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had her underwear. And
you were wearing cutoffs.
Cut off shorts, no shoes.
Wait, you were driving with no shoes, Chris?
That's the worst of my problems, or the least of my problems.
To me, that's pretty... Your day's not going to go well if you're starting out driving shoeless.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm sure
I'm sure I'm focusing on the wrong thing.
I'm sure I flicked my Marlboro Light out the window.
Yeah.
Lit another one. And I think there were more words,
Okay.
But I'm just getting to the meat of the story when she said, "Tell your boyfriend I want my underwear back." I punched her in the face.
Right.
And then I just stood there because then I didn't know what to do because I'd never punched anybody in the face before. I'd only really been punched a lot by my older brother. And then she grabbed my hair and pulled me down to the ground, onto the ground, and just started nailing me.
Oh, shit.
Because she'd been in a lot of fights and knew how to fight.
Hence the house arrest, probably.
And just started, slamming me.
Shit.
And I was on the ground getting punched in the face.
Where was the fucking asshole boyfriend at this point?
Watching?
Oh, my God.
Look, he wasn't the greatest.
You realized you should have been punching him, not her.
Oh, I should have punched him a lot.
Yeah.
And then I think I fought back a lot, and then we just both kind of stopped the fight.
Yeah.
It just ended, and then I went in my car and went home, and I cried a lot. And the next day at school, everybody kept coming up to me and saying, "I heard kicked your ass." And so then I went up to her locker and I said, "I heard you're telling everybody that you kicked my ass." And she was like, "I didn't say that. I don't want to fight you again." And I was like, "All right, good." And
but clearly she did, because who else would have said, unless it was your boyfriend?
Well, yeah, of course she was saying that.
Yeah.
But she kind of did.
Yeah, that's true.
But I wasn't going to let her go around and say that. I had to save face.
God, you were so tough.
Yeah.
Did it feel satisfying to punch her?
It hurt my hand a lot, actually.
Yeah, because I've never punched someone like that.
It hurt. And it made me feel sad, I think, really, actually, to be in a fight.
Yeah.
And I also have a bone that's really pointy on my nose, I think, from where she punched me in the nose that damaged, chipped a little bit inside my nose.
Jesus Christ. I was going to say, were you guys bloody?
I remember being swollen. I don't remember being bloody.
Jesus Christ. Well, I don't know if you can top that.
Garen?
I've been in one fight and I got my ass kicked and 1,000% deserved it.
Oh, why? What did you do?
We were in homeroom. I don't know what possessed me. I think I was...
This is junior high or high school?
Middle school.
Okay.
I think I was under the influence of this cute guy that was sitting next to me. One of the popular kids. And I just got up and I slammed a friend of mine in the head with a book.
What?
I don't know why.
Oh, you thought you were impressing this guy?
Yeah, because he was laughing about it and he was like, whatever.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then I did it again.
Oh, my God.
It's the worst thing I think I've ever done. And then he got up and started wailing on me.
In class?
Oh, yeah. The teacher was not there at the time. She had gone to somewhere. So he just grabbed me. We were going to fight. And he just got me a headlock and started pounding on my neck, basically.
Oh, ouch.
Jesus.
Yeah, in the back of my neck, which I think actually did damage. But that was it. And then the teacher showed up and we broke up and he went to
Were you still friends after that?
I remember the bus that afternoon afterwards going, because we were both on the same bus. I was like, "You really kicked my ass today." It's like, good. I deserved it or whatever. And that's kind of it. It never came up again. We were fine.
Yeah, that's good dudes for you.
Yeah, I don't remember anything.
You know what I mean?
God, it was wild.
That's
I 100% deserved it.
crazy.
I don't know what possessed me to do that. It was fucked up.
Love, hormones.
I absolutely deserved it. Yeah, I guess.
Bad judgment.
I barely talked to this person either. I don't know why.
Because you had a crush on him.
I guess. It's weird.
My God.
Weird.
Our brains aren't fully developed until we're 25.
Yeah. Yeah, which is why I tell Oliver, don't smoke pot until you're at least in your 20s.
At
if
least.
not later, 25.
Wait till you're in your 40s.
I don't think he'll ever do it, honestly, but that's what I told him.
I think it's good advice.
Yeah.
I approve.
I didn't do it till I was 40 something. 40s.
Yeah.
I didn't drink either till then.
Huh.
Yeah.
And now you're just a mess.
I'm a complete
Now you're just
disaster.
an alcoholic. Okay. Okay, so getting back to what you should and shouldn't do.
Okay. Well, it's funny because I'm gonna get to something that Garen said in his story. All right, get into a boxer stance with your fists up and start moving. Okay. If it looks like the person is going to attack you despite your best efforts to defuse the situation, put your dukes up.
Okay.
Clench your fists, bend your elbows, and raise your fists up in front of your face to protect it.
Right.
Sorry, I just lost where I was. Keep your feet about shoulder width apart and stand and start to hop back and forth. Okay, so this is going to make you a harder target than if you stay still.
Right.
And plus, it's going to freak them out. It's going to make them think you're a badass. Or
they're going to think you're a championship boxer.
Exactly. I mean, we've all seen Rocky. You know how to do this.
Yeah, exactly.
So just watch Rocky again, and then or Creed. If that's your thing.
Part of that's my thing.
Right? Mm-hmm. All right. This may seem counterintuitive, but clench your teeth to avoid a broken jaw. If you get punched in the face, if your mouth is open and they punch you in the mouth, you may end up with missing teeth and possibly even a broken jaw.
Ooh.
If a fight is imminent, clench your teeth together and keep them that way to protect your teeth and jaw.
Okay.
Here's another one that sounds really hard to do. Move towards the punch with your forehead to better absorb the blow.
Oh, come on.
I know. I don't know how.
Come on.
I know. It's like move towards the car that's about to hit you. Your forehead is the hardest part of your head, so try to move your head so that they hit you in the forehead if they're punching at your face. Try to imagine you're trying to headbutt their fist when you see an incoming blow. This will be less painful for you, and it may injure their fist in the process.
Okay, because you were saying you could really hurt your fist, so yeah.
Here's another one. Tense your stomach. The muscles in your stomach, Garen.
Yeah,
you got to make some muscles, okay? In case they punch or kick you. An unexpected blow to your stomach can knock the wind out of you. So keep your stomach muscles tight if they show signs of aggression. You want to flex your abdominal muscles. Now, do you know how to do this, Garen?
I don't know if I have abdominal muscles.
All right. It's not sucking in your stomach. This is what I learned in PT. It's actually kind of pushing your stomach out. And that flexes them.
Like jutting it.
Yeah, it's like you're pushing it out. And that is keeping it stronger so you can take the impact of the blow. Turn your body to the side if they aim to punch at your stomach, because it may not be as painful if they hit you in your obliques. These are your side abdominal muscles.
Why are you laughing? Because it's just all going over his head.
Because Garen's like, I don't have those.
Pushing out my stomach goes against something I've ever learned.
I should make it a point that I don't think I have obliques anymore either. So, I mean,
we worked on obliques yesterday.
I know Danielle's like ripped from all her Pilates, but the rest of us over here it's just all like sad.
I have both. I have muscles with then some like poof on top of it.
Mine's just, I think at this point it might all be poof. It used to be very yoga, and now the yoga is just like, come on.
If somebody punches me in the abdominal region, the fight's going to end because their fist is going to get stuck. So
it's going to go out the other side.
They're just like, what's happening?
It's a cartoon where you just see a fist-shaped skin going through his back. So gross.
Okay, use whatever you have in your hands as a weapon.
A switch.
There you go. If you're holding an umbrella, your keys, or even a hot coffee, these can all serve as helpful tools against an attacker.
Nice.
Okay, so if you can't escape the attacker and you need to defend yourself, you use what you have in your hand.
Right.
Keys, obviously we know as women, of course, you hold them in your fist with each one stabby. Make a claw, and that makes your punch a lot stronger.
Right.
If you have an umbrella, they say hold it like a bat and get ready to hit, but I feel like I'd use it as like a stabbing device.
You mean with the
point?
But the point isn't pointy. It's just...
Oh, unless it's that open kind. I guess it depends on what kind of umbrella you have. If you have one of those short ones that don't have a point.
Ones.
I'm thinking of the old-fashioned kind that have the
Do the old-fashioned ones have an actual point
I
at
thought
the end?
they did.
I guess I thought they would have something that would make it not... Well, even if it were flat, it's something you can poke with, yes.
If you're holding a hot cup of coffee, I mean, take the lid, loosen it, and throw it in their face. You got to get a hot McDonald's coffee.
I would just take the umbrella and like repeatedly open it and close it in their face just to annoy them.
Yes.
And throw them off their balance.
That's a good idea.
But if If it's the mechanical one where you push it,
That's
you got to
harder.
wait for it to go down.
I
Then you
know,
got to do it again. And
it's
it's going to go down.
I would do the singing in the rain routine.
Yeah.
And just blow them away with my dance skills.
That's right.
Here's a good tip. Kick your opponent in the knee or groin like you're kicking down a door. A hard kick to the knee or groin can stop an attacker in their tracks. Kick them hard with the bottom of your foot for the most impact. Now, keep this in mind. A male assailant may be expecting a kick to the groin, so go for the knee first. A hard kick to the knee will also prevent them from chasing after you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, a knee kick, I mean, whoo, that's...
That's really good. I like that.
Here's a good one. Jab the person in the throat or eyes with your fingers or keys.
See, I don't think I could do that.
Oh, because you're so grossed out by it?
I guess there's just something, yeah, maybe it's the grossed out part.
Punch or headbutt them in the nose as hard as you can. The nose sticks out and you can break it easily with a well-aimed punch.
Okay.
If you're very close to them and they're about the same height as you, then headbutting them may be more effective.
Yeah.
Thrust your fist or forehead at their nose quickly.
I could headbutt someone's ribs or something.
Maybe your attacker's also small.
I'd have to jump up in the air to headbutt someone, I think.
All right. Well,
Which would be cool.
Oh, it'd be so cool.
Like volleyball.
That would go viral for sure if someone.
Oh
could
my
use that.
God. Totally.
Go for the knees, Danielle.
Yes. I'm going for the knees.
Go for the
And the
knees.
groin.
Stomp on their feet and elbow them if they're holding you. So if the person has their arms around you, stomp down on their feet as hard as you can with your heel.
Okay.
Then use your elbow to jab them in the stomach as hard as you can. Continue to stomp on their feet and elbow them until they let you go.
So none of this says just let someone take your stuff?
Well,
Or maybe they're jumping you for non-monetary, non-mugging reasons.
This is often like they're jumping you to kick your ass.
Or it's an initiation into a gang.
That might be.
Right.
And they might just want to take you somewhere.
Okay.
This one's wild. Clap your open palms over their ears at the same time.
Oh, yes!
Draw your hands back. Cup both of your hands and draw your arms back as far as you can. Then slap your hands together over their ears hard and fast. The air that your hands trap and push into their ears will temporarily incapacitate them. This move may cause someone to lose consciousness if you execute it properly, but don't hang around if they lose consciousness. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
Like,
Don't check their pulse. Just get the fuck out of there. What if you had two cymbals?
Oh,
that would be awesome.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Maybe start carrying cymbals.
Yes.
Here's one more. This is what reminded me of your story. Punch them in the back of the neck if you're behind them. If you happen to be behind the person, aim a quick, hard punch at the back of their neck. This should be enough to knock them out. If you punch them hard enough, then run away. If they're unconscious, guys, you're not going to worry about making sure they're okay. They've already tried to attack you. Don't.
I'm good.
Don't worry about that. Are you guys ready for an insane story?
Yes.
I'm so excited that I found this. This is a little different than what we've been talking about because this woman was not attacked on the street.
Okay.
But I think it's going to deliver. And then some. Susan Kuhnhausen took her time going home. On the evening of Wednesday, September 6, 2006, the 51-year-old emergency room nurse ended her shift at Providence Portland Medical Center on Northeast Gleason Street and headed to Perfect Look Hair Salon on East Burnside Street. As she waited for her turn, she picked up a copy of Oprah magazine and read a poem. "I will not die an unlived life," it began. "I will not live in fear." 1 hour later, rested and relaxed, she drove to her blue, one-story Cape Cod with a gray picket fence in the Montevilla neighborhood of Southeast Portland. In the mudroom at the back of her house, Susan found a note by the microwave from her husband of almost 18 years, Mike. "Sue, haven't been sleeping, had to get away, went to the beach." He added that he'd see her on Friday or Saturday. "Love me." He signed off. Unlocking the door to the kitchen, Susan heard the beeping of her security alarm. She disarmed it, walked through the house to the front door, and then went back outside. It was clear and warm at 6:37 p.m. that day, and she stood for a minute or two in the front yard, flipping through her mail. When she came back inside, she kicked off her Birkenstocks and noticed how dark it was in her bedroom on the first floor. Had she forgotten to open the curtains that morning? Suddenly, from behind the bedroom door, a man lurched toward her. At 5'9", the 59-year-old stranger weighed 190 pounds. He wore Dockers, a blue striped shirt, and a tan baseball hat pulled down low over his eyes. His long hair was in a ponytail tucked into the cap. He wore yellow rubber gloves on his hands. and carried a red and black claw hammer.
Jesus.
For many people, the presence of an intruder brandishing a hammer in a darkened bedroom would prompt an entirely understandable response. They'd run. But Susan wasn't most people. An emergency room nurse for nearly 30 years, she had disarmed injured men, helped crack open people's chests to perform heart massages, and administer IVs in patients thrashing from drug withdrawal. She and all the other nurses at Providence trained regularly in self-defense, learning how to slip out of headlocks and clutches. Still, she had doubted herself. Will I even remember this stuff? Years of training steadied Susan, who was still wearing blue scrubs when she returned home that night. When her assailant came at her, Susan crowded him, knowing the swings of his weapon would have less force if she stayed close.
Okay.
His first...
Oh, smart.
Right? So she's using her training.
Yeah.
His first blow landed on her left temple.
Oof.
Ugh.
With the claw hammer?
With a claw hammer.
Oh, no, Susan.
Who are you? What do you want? She screamed as loudly as she could, but he didn't answer and he didn't stop. At 5'4", Susan was 5 inches shorter than the man in the baseball cap. So like you, Danielle.
Yeah. I wish I were 5'4".
Well, in relation
I know. I'm just being silly.
She had 2 bad knees from repeated injuries and excess weight, but she outweighed her attacker significantly. Hoping to push him over, Susan says she slammed her body up against his. He didn't fall. Instead, he pushed Susan back against the pink-hued walls of her bedroom. He then uttered his only words that night. "You're strong," he told her. The phrase sent surges of adrenaline through Susan.
Oh.
And a terrible awakening. He is here to kill me, she realized at that moment. I don't know why. I don't know who he is, but his intent was clear. Susan responded by pushing him again. "Who sent you?" she demanded. She managed to wrestle the hammer from him, and she swung its claw 3 times, maybe 4, into his skull.
Oh, my God.
He snatched the hammer back, so Susan grabbed his throat. "Who sent you here?" she asked it again, hands squeezing his airway. The intruder's face turned red, then purple, then darker purple with a blue tinge. Susan spooked. She let go. Then she tried to flee. "I don't know what I thought," she says. "I just had to get out of there." The man whom police later identified as Edward Dalton Haffey caught her as she ran from her bedroom into a narrow hallway.
Oh, no.
He spun her around again, punched her, splitting her lip. He punched her again. She fell to the floor. The image she saw next haunts her. He was standing over me with the hammer, she says. I looked at the floor and I thought, I'm going to die today. To this day, she's not sure how, but she managed to pull the man to the floor, too. I gotta get the hammer, she told herself then. She started to bite Haffey, thinking that if she was going to die, her teeth marks might tie her to death to him.
Oh my God, she's a genius.
Wrestling on the floor, she bit his arm, his flank, his thigh. She even bit through the zipper to his genitals.
Nice.
At the same time, she tried to rifle through Haffey's pockets looking for ID she could toss under a bed or chair or dresser that police would later find.
She is a freaking genius, this woman. Okay.
I know. I was like a downed power line snapping on the pavement, she says. The fight had now lasted about 14 minutes.
Holy shit.
Imagine 14 minutes.
That's forever.
They were both wedged on their sides in the hallway outside Susan's bedroom. She threw her left leg over Haffey's body, climbed up on top of him, and hooked her left arm around his neck. Tell me who sent you here and I will call you a fucking ambulance, she yelled in his face. He said nothing. Instead, he growled. Susan leaned forward, tightening her forearm against his throat. He stopped moving. Then she grabbed the hammer and fled outside to neighbors who called 911. 911 dispatcher. What did she use on him? She strangled him. What else did she do? Ann Warnock, neighbor. She put a chokehold on him. I've got help on the way. Stay on the line. She has a hammer here. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Just leave it there. She hit him in the head several times. That's the hammer he had with him. She struck him and she strangled him. And she thinks he's dead. Was he by himself? Neighbor. Did he have anybody with him? No. She expressed a concern it may have been her ex-partner who sent the person. Susan had not Okay, these are the 911 calls. Okay, so I'm going to give you some backstory. Susan had not witnessed a lot of happy marriages growing up. Her father, an Air Force cook, and her mother, a homemaker, separated when she was in 2nd grade. Life was chaotic as the children moved from Colorado to Arizona, California, Nevada, shuffling between schools, homes, and parents. My parents loved me, but they couldn't teach me how to have a successful marriage, and any more they could teach me how to fly, she says. In 1988, a friend and Susan's mother paid for a personal ad for Susan in Willamette Week. That's where she met her husband. Within a year, they'd be driving to Reno to get married. Mike liked to play slots, and Susan figured there was no bigger gamble in life than marriage. It soured quickly. It wasn't very long after we married that there was no more hiking, no more getting out. He started slowly revealing to her in the early years that he'd never really been happy. His life philosophy was, life is a shit sandwich, and every day you take another bite until you die.
Jesus.
The couple never had any children, and Susan was fine with that. Mike, who chain smoked while guzzling Diet Cokes, hounded Susan about her plans when she went out. He watched her spending and complained about minor purchases. 17 years into their marriage, Susan had had enough. If she tried to kiss him, he'd burp.
Ew.
I cared about him, but I didn't want to live with him anymore, she says. I wanted to be happy again. In September 2005, she kicked him out of the house. He moved into his father's home, but Susan never changed the locks or the alarm code. 1210, their anniversary. This is the dispatcher again. Have there been problems with her ex-husband or her ex-partner? She talks to Mike, her ex-partner, and asks him to house sit for the cats, and he said he couldn't do it. He was on his way to the beach. He left her a note.
Oh.
He knows the alarm. Okay, that's good information to pass to the officers. The day after the attack, Susan's friend, Helen Ballone, accompanied Susan to her house to help her collect her belongings. Susan, there's a backpack in your basement that doesn't belong. Police hadn't noticed the backpack when officers inspected Susan's cluttered basement. Inside was a container of Hershey syrup, $200 in cash, diabetes pills, a daybook, and a pay stub made out to Haffey. An entry in the daybook for Monday, September 4th, 2006 was marked, "Call Mike." That's her husband's name.
Uh-huh.
A manila envelope listed Mike's new cell phone number. Haffey, an autopsy would show, had a near-lethal dose of cocaine in his system when he attacked Susan in her home.
Oh, that's not a good. Not a good
sign,
defense,
right? Yeah. Court records reveal a gruesome crime 15 years earlier. This is Haffey, the guy that was in her home. On February 28, 1991, Haffey arranged the murder of his ex-girlfriend, 39-year-old Georgia Lee Dutton. Her decomposed body was later found along the Umpqua River near Roseburg. He pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit aggravated murder on March 14, 1994, and spent the next 9 years in the Eastern Oregon Correctional Institution. He was released in 2003.
Doesn't that seem like a life sentence?
You should never get out of prison, I think.
Right.
After he got out, he moved to Portland, and he got a job working with Mike Kuhnhausen at Fantasy Adult Video.
Okay.
That's where they met. So they weren't together anymore, but they had never officially divorced.
Right.
And the thing is that he was broke and he didn't have any money, but their house was paid off. And if she was dead, their house worth $300,000, that money would have been to his. So he pleaded guilty. He went to prison. She was terrified he was going to get out. So she lived in total fear. Wow. And then luckily he died in prison 92 days before his release.
Oh, fantastic.
So that was the story.
That is horrifying.
It was like
of Susan Kuhnhausen.
It really was.
It was wild.
That was great.
It was really well written too, to be honest.
Yeah.
Such a badass. I mean, actually, I had to cut that story way down because it was really long. So for anyone who's interested in reading the entire thing and seeing photos from the crime scene, which are pretty intense, I will put it in the newsletter. So our Patreon listeners will have access to that. And people, just so you know, if you already have the newsletter, you're always going to have access to it. You're not losing anything.
Right. I thought you were going to say that in his notebook of his calendar, I was going to say, call, whatever it was, May 10th, kill Susan.
I mean, these two guys were the biggest idiots.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Fargo episode.
I really think they should do a Fargo season about this story because it's really bananas. And
That's amazing.
Two guys were just really the biggest idiots.
Well, thank you, Chris. That was fantastic.
You're welcome. I love to share.
I'm so glad Susan's okay and
Me
that her
too.
ex-husband's dead. She doesn't have to worry about it. Oy. Anyway, we will be right back with our guest.
Can't wait.
Are you struggling to close deals? Cold outreach is wasting the time of both the buyer and seller at every stage, especially when sellers are using shallow and outdated data. Your organization can overcome these challenges with technology that translates comprehensive, high-quality buyer data into real-time insights. These deeper insights empower sales reps and teams to adopt the habits of top performers, which leads to better outcomes, like more pipeline, higher win rates, and larger deals. We call this deep sales. And we've built the first deep sales platform with the next generation of LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get a 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/trial and get started.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off with your first order at bollandbranch.com. Code WONDERY15. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
Welcome back to How to Survive with Danielle and Kristine. Danielle.
Kristine.
How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great. I'm enjoying today's episode.
Me too.
I'm enjoying your company.
Lots of violence. It's good.
It was it was a lot more murder than we usually talk about.
It's a little murdery.
We don't get into murders.
No, if we did more, we'd have a bigger audience.
That's true. That's true.
But that's okay.
Maybe we do need 50% more murder.
Yes, exactly. Well, on the first half of the show, we were talking about how to survive a street fight.
Exactly.
And now we are going to talk about basically how to survive a street fight with Jesse Thorn. You know him as podcast legend, actually. Yeah. Jordan Jesse Go and Judge John. I'm going to say it. Judge John Hodgman.
Rolls right off
John Hodgman. I mean, I know him. I know who he is. I don't know him personally. I know who he is. But it just all sounded like too much of an effort in my mouth.
Great news.
Yes?
I have a literal street fight. One of these is a literal, actual. Most of them could not be qualified as fights. Most of them just involve the threat of violence.
I like that there's There's like a...
Well, this is a suite of anecdotes.
Yeah, I love that.
I've brought you a suite of anecdotes.
Is it a flight of anecdotes?
Yes,
this is
absolutely.
a tasting.
Each should be paired with a different kind of cheese.
This is a little Riesling of growing up in the hood. This is a Sauvignon Blanc of growing up in the hood.
I love this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Delight.
Okay, walk us through it.
Okay, well, I'll start with the street fight one. So I grew up in the Mission District in San Francisco. I was just there for San Francisco Sketchfest. I had a great time.
Did you get into a fight up there?
Don't I wish? I'm ready for it now. Like, that's the thing. I've got my man strength.
Right.
But
did Janet Varney give you a 1-2?
Boxed ears.
Boxed your ears.
I like these days, the Mission is very different from it was when I was a kid. It's like Mark Zuckerberg lived there for a little while.
Okay.
Now, Mark Zuckerberg did, I think, buy 3 houses in a row and connect them with tunnels or something. But
I gotta say that actually sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, but yeah, like Mark's, like the people. I went to Dolores Park, which is big park in the neighborhood, and was at the playground, and there were just a lot of dudes in polar fleece vests with their kids there.
Oh, okay.
Which was not the
this
case.
Trip. Okay.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it would have been a lot of dudes in Ben Davis Gorilla Cut pants and half zip shirts and red or blue Nike Cortezes, depending on what part of the neighborhood you were in.
So are you saying these are actual like Crips and Bloods?
These were not Crips and Bloods. They were Norteños and Sureños.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that North and South?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So yeah, when I was a kid, it was a pretty rough neighborhood. I mean, it was like there was bohemian elements too, and in San Francisco, it's such a small city that I could also walk half a mile and I would be in the heart of the Castro. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But where I lived, I was like around the corner from probably the second toughest housing project in San Francisco, and like I said, there was a lot of gang stuff going on.
Right.
And I then, as now, was a very pasty, somewhat femmy. I was really like, no one was ever going to think that I was a real one. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So
you weren't tough. You didn't have this beard then either, I'm sure.
No, I was significantly I truly a real turning point in my life was in high school when I went to art school. Was like conspicuously having my first girlfriend, which convinced everyone that I was heterosexual.
Oh, okay.
Like I was a little soft boy. And
so how old are you in this first story?
This first story, I'm going to save the street fight, but in this first story, I'm probably, I'm like 8 or 9 years old.
Oh my gosh.
And like I said, my mom's apartment was, half a block from this housing project. And it was one of those things where, like, at night, there was a lot of, was that a car backfiring or was it something else, right?
Gotcha.
And one morning I woke up and my mom was already up and like fully dressed. And she was like, and again, I want to be clear, I'm like 9 years old. She's like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what happened last night. And I said to her, well, what happened last night? I was asleep last night. And she said, you didn't hear it? It's weird after you hear what happened that she didn't check in with me immediately afterwards.
Okay.
She's like, you didn't hear it? You didn't hear what happened? And I was like, no. And she said, I woke up in the middle of the night. My friend David Carroll had visited the previous day, and apparently his father had not fully closed the gate.
Oh.
So my mom woke up in the middle of the night at like 2 o'clock in the morning with a man with a knife standing at the foot of her bed.
What?
Oh my God.
Her bed was right by the front door. She kind of sort of slept in the dining room.
Okay.
And so this man was standing there with a big ass knife. And my mom to this day is definitely tougher than me.
Okay.
She's probably 5'10", and she's broader than me, fuller.
She's not a soft
fuller
boy.
than me. No, not at all. My mom's raw. My mom's a real one. And I'm pretty sure my mom was a drug smuggler in Central America for a while. But that's an aside.
Oh, okay. And your mom, there was no dad in the house?
There's no dad in the house.
Okay.
It's just me and my mom in the house.
Okay.
And so this man is standing at the foot of her bed. And first of all, besides not checking in on me, I'm not sure the full story should have been shared with me. I don't know that it was
not something you needed to know.
Productive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my mom is not one to hold that kind of thing back. So apparently this dude broke into the house because the gate was ajar.
Okay.
And I don't think he was looking to murder someone. I think he was probably looking to steal some stuff. Neighborhood junkie kind of deal.
Right.
And my mom, when she saw him there, not only screamed, which any reasonable person would do, she got up out of bed and chased him out of the house.
Oh, no. My God.
He had a knife. She had no weapon. It's not like she grabbed the, handgun she kept in the side table or like the baseball bat that she keeps under her pillow or whatever. Just my mom, through sheer force of whatever the opposite of charisma is, whatever the charisma of potential violence is.
Okay.
She had mama bear energy.
Chased him out of the house and down the street and around the corner before she lost him.
What was her plan?
I don't think kick his ass, I guess.
Oh my God.
I love your mom.
I absolutely could not tell you what the plan was, but that I can't say that this was not a comforting story to me as a nine-year-old or whatever it was. However, I don't remember it surprising me that much. Like no element of it seemed off. You know what I mean? Like
that's amazing. So she must have just screamed so much that she scared him, and that's why he went off. Because if she has no weapon.
So my mom chased this dude out of the house, down the stairs, and around the corner while I was asleep in the back bedroom.
Oh my God.
Then came back, went to bed, and only talked to me about it in the morning when she told me the whole story, which she didn't need to do.
She got a good night's sleep.
She slept like a little baby.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So there were a few times that I just got like regular jumped, and I never got like beat up that much just because I got up off whatever's in my pockets. And I didn't have enough in my pockets to protect.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think also like you learn the skill of like, for me, it was like I could either try to be down and intimidating, or I could just be so skinny and white and femmy that I just kind of floated past.
Right.
Like nobody.
Yeah, like a fairy.
Yeah, like nobody thought that's a slur, but yes.
I didn't mean it. I was picturing a literal
Garen,
fairy.
I apologize for Danielle.
He knows he's a fairy.
I floated. I like floated through, the gang life that was going on in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't,
Were you the only white person in your area?
There weren't a lot of white kids in my neighborhood.
Okay.
There were. I mean, it's San Francisco. Every neighborhood is very mixed.
Right.
But my neighborhood was predominantly Latino, and a lot of at the time it was like the late '80s. There was a lot of Central Americans, Salvadorans and Guatemalans who were coming up because of the wars in Salvador and Guatemala, that kind of thing. And then there was kind of a kind of long. The gangs had been mostly Mexican American because that had kind of been the population of the neighborhood since the 60s and 70s, basically. Okay. Carlos Santana from my neighborhood, Benjamin Bratt from my neighborhood.
Do not say the words Carlos Santana to me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I said them.
It's okay.
So, I went to high school with his son Sal Santana at School
I'm
of the
sure
Arts
he's
in
a
San
lovely
Francisco.
person.
Yeah.
Just don't want to hear that guitar.
Okay, that's fair. No,
But I will keep Benjamin Bratt in my mind. That's fine.
Yeah, Benjamin Bratt's cool as heck. That guy was part of when he was like 5 years old, was part of the native occupation of Alcatraz.
No
way.
I have read about that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, his mom is native Peruvian.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, and he was in the he lived as like a 5-year-old. He lived on Alcatraz for a month or whatever.
Wow.
That's wild.
Anyway, Benjamin Bratt aside.
Okay.
So another time, this is probably, I was a little older. I was probably 13-ish. And like I said, there was like times that I just got jumped by a group of kids and they took my Walkman or whatever. But I was like 13-ish, and I was walking down 16th Street in San Francisco. I was literally there yesterday, and I was right near the Roxy Theater on 16th Street in San Francisco. And this dude rolled up next to me, and when I say rolled up, like when you grow up in the hood, like you're always looking for somebody on the roll up, which is like somebody that is waiting for a target. Who sort of moves up beside you, right?
On foot or in a car?
On foot, generally. However, this was a literal roll-up because this man was in a wheelchair. This man was in a wheelchair.
I did not see that coming.
This man.
First of all, that's dangerous to live in San Francisco in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You could just go flying off
roll
the
backwards
earth.
down a hill, or I mean, like, first of all, shout out to everybody living with disability. My dad's best friend has a state holiday here in California named after him for his work in the independent living movement.
Wow.
Shout out the late Ed Roberts. But yeah, this dude rolled up on me. And it was like it was just a classic roll up. Like it was like
no, it wasn't.
It was like it was like if you imagine a freeway merge. You're walking straight and somebody comes along your flank.
Right.
Right. One time I said to my therapist, this is like 15 years ago, something about how I was always uncomfortable with my friends in the city because I felt like they couldn't see what was going on. They were just gonna get popped or something.
Yeah.
And like. He was like, so you're always trying to, and I'm like, yeah, of course I am. Like I'm situational, like I'm always on the trying to be aware of who's up to what and what's going on. He's like, do you think that might be a challenge that you face rather than a weakness of theirs, of your friends? And I was like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. Anyway, this dude rolls up on the side, and he's like, hey, let me look at your Walkman. And I'm like...
I'm sorry, you're 13 at this point?
Yeah, I'm like 13. And I'm like, oh, no, whatever. He's like, hey, let me hold that, right? Which is like, it's like a kind of, it's pocket check, right? But it's like the thing you say, like, let me hold that is like, I'm
just taking it.
And I was pretty intimidated by this dude in this wheelchair. I think it was a motorized wheelchair, if I remember correctly. But he was definitely like, I want to be clear, like a lot of people are thinking, like my dad's friend Ed was quadriplegic, he could only move one finger below the waist. Mm-hmm. This was a leg issue with this guy. So he had full upper body mobility. Right. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
still feel like if you just turned, you could have out.
So he was a pretty big, he was a broad dude. And, I was 13. Anyway, and long story short, I did let him hold the Walkman. And because, like, in those situations, like, you really, like, you kind of learn this thing, which is, like, you just are, like, clear-eyed and calm.
Yeah.
And outside of, outside of acceding to violence or whatever,
right?
You're just like, what is going to resolve this right now? What is the
yes? No, you have all the right instincts,
right? So I hand my Walkman to this dude, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is nice," and he's starting to roll away, right? And this is when it occurs to me, this was a dude in a wheelchair that it just is stealing my Walkman right now, and I'm like, and this is in the middle of the day. And 16th Street, busy street. Like, there's people around and stuff. Like, it's not like it's 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. This is just on the street during the day. And luckily, there was this, like, punk rock dude walking the other way down the street. And I'm going like, hey, yo, give me my Walkman back. And God bless this man. He comes up and he's like, it looks like you took this kid's Walkman.
Awesome.
And the guy's like, no, this is my Walkman, And the guy's like, no, why would this 13-year-old be lying about this? Like,
right.
Why is this kid that I was probably crying? Why would this kid lie about this? And he goes, oh man, fuck it. And he just gives me my Walkman back.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is such a nice ending to the story.
Yeah, sometimes there's good Samaritans. Sometimes there's good Samaritans.
Thank you, punk rocker.
Yeah, I worked for a minute at the Department of Elections in this underground bunker counting votes.
What?
And
what?
Yeah, it was a great job. It was awesome.
Okay.
Paid like $20 an hour. But there was this dude there who had just moved there from Iowa. And one time we were walking in the Tenderloin, it was right next to the underground bunker. And there was somebody that looked like they were probably stealing shit out of a car.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yo, that guy's stealing stuff from out of a car. Like, we got to go stop him.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, what are you talking about,
right.
Iowa? Like,
right.
what is
this?
Like, what do you think this is going to be like? Yeah, exactly. So the actual street fight that I got into, I think I was probably 13, 14 in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I had gone with my dad to Burlington Coat Factory. And this is, I don't mean to just use this show to brag.
Yeah.
But we had gone to Burlington Coat Factory because I needed a coat, and my dad was like, you can get any coat in here, which was very exciting to me.
Yeah.
Both because, as at least Danielle, I love outfits.
Yeah.
Kristine, you may have intuited that.
I'm getting a
vibe. You used to dress more
fancier.
Yeah.
I used to dress a little fancier, but
a little more like the Paul F. Tompkins sort of school of like dapper.
That's known as Fancy Jesse. Fancy Jesse has receded a little bit.
As with fatherhood, Fancy Jesse has taken a step back.
And then there was a pandemic also.
Yeah,
I didn't leave the house for 3 years.
Yeah.
So I had chosen this 49ers jacket that I could not have been more excited about.
Oh.
It was like a Letterman jacket with denim sleeves.
Yep.
This was the early to mid 1990s. This was
totally get it.
Hot stuff. And like the thing about that kind of like licensed sports apparel, like I had always wanted a starter jacket. Mm-hmm. Do you remember starter jackets, like satin?
Yes.
Satin. So that was something I had always wanted, but I both couldn't afford it, even the chalk line version, which is the sort of second tier starter jacket. And that's what people who had gang affiliations wore. So not so much Giants ones. It was mostly the 49ers and Cowboys for Norteños and Sureños, but respectively. But like it was a little bit like if I had been wearing Cortezes, like people would have wondered if I was.
Okay.
So anyway, I got this 49ers jacket. I was so pumped about this jacket. Like, this was like my favorite thing that I had ever, to get this special jacket, to get to choose anything. And I'm walking down Valencia Street, right near the corner of Valencia and Mission. And I'm in front of this big hospital that was there, and they tore some of it down. And coming down the other direction on the street are these two dudes, and they're older than me. Maybe they're 16 or 17, something like that. And one of them is wearing the same jacket as me.
Okay.
And I'm pumped because I'm so pumped about this jacket. And I'm like, this dude has this cool older dude has the same jacket as me.
Yeah.
And so as we get close enough to address one another, I look at this dude and I go, hey, nice jacket.
Okay.
Because look, we're two cool guys who have the same jacket.
Like when you see someone in the same car as you.
Yeah. Anyway, he punched me in the face.
No.
Yeah. Just cold cocked me in the face, literally pointed and laughed at me and left.
Oh my God.
Wow.
What the fuck?
No warning.
Well, I mean, he pulled his arm back first, Kristine, but other than that, no warning.
What? What, was he a gang affiliated, did it seem like?
I mean, he might have just been a jerky teen.
Jesus Christ.
He was wearing a 49. Like, the one thing is that it was like, if he was gang affiliated, he would have been a norteño, because they're the ones that wore the Niner stuff, which was the Sureños were in a different part of the neighborhood from where I lived.
Okay.
So he could have theoretically been, but I would have been on the same team as him. I was also wearing...
but if they think only like...
If they think, you'd have a hard time.
In
if
San
you're in San Francisco,
right,
if you punch everyone in a 49ers jacket, you're
your
gonna...
hand would be really sore.
Although you might callus eventually.
Yes, that's a positive way of looking at it. That's
I'm surprised
amazing.
he didn't take the... I thought he was going to take the jacket for his friend.
I totally thought that too.
I was like, he's going to punch him, then he's going to take the jacket, so then they can both have the jacket.
I definitely thought the same thing, because I really thought as soon as we got to Burlington Coat Factory, I was like, oh, that jacket's gone. That jacket has been stolen. But thank God it wasn't stolen.
I never got jumped for any of my clothes. I didn't have there was one year when my mom got me Diodoras.
What's that?
Do you remember? This is like a kind of sneakers.
Okay.
They're like Italian soccer sneakers or something like that. I don't know.
Fancy.
But that was like a real thrilling year for me, because once in a while people would go, hey, nice sneaks, nice kicks. But yeah, in general, I was wearing something that...
No one wanted.
When I was... There's a lot of pictures of me as like a 5 and 6 year old wearing, and this is not a joke, a purple crushed velvet hat. Like a little rolled, the kind that sits flat over your head with a little rolled edge around the...
Like the Riddler?
Like a little, like if I was some kind of little French clown, like a little clown boy.
You're a Pierrot.
Yeah, like a little fancy, a fancy little clown boy.
Oh my God!
Something like
that. So
that.
Started early. This interest in a particular fashion.
Yeah, and being a fancy little special boy.
Oh my God! The French thing made me just think of something really quick that yesterday. So Oliver takes Spanish in school, and the teacher, who adores him, they for some reason they were talking about 5-course meals. I guess that was like their lesson in that kind of vocabulary, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And he said,
"Donde está la biblioteca?"
Right. And so he said, what is the first course in a 5-course meal? And Oliver said, it's a amuse-bouche. And they all laughed at him, and they were like, what? And he's like, Senor, I don't know what you're talking about. And he says, well, I just watched the menu, and I happen to know that the first course is the amuse-bouche.
It's like, I was just making viral commercials with Dr. Oz, and
I had told Oliver, it means like to amuse your mouth, or I don't know if amuse is the actual translation, but it's something about
delight the palate.
Delight your, And he's like, amuse your mouth, amuse-bouche, which is just funny because there's no other way he would know that if we hadn't literally the day before watched the menu. And And then I said, well, I would think there was some translation in Spanish. And he goes, Mom, he speaks French too. And I'm like, you're right. His kids live in France. He's like complete. I'm like, I don't get it. He's just like pulling a fast one on you. He doesn't know what a moose-bouche is.
The only thing the Spanish teacher at my high school ever said was, chicle en la ba! Chicle en la ba!
What, over there? What is the chicle?
Throw the trash in your gum in the trash.
Oh, chicle. Oh, yeah. Chicle really means gum?
Yeah.
That's where chiclet comes from?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
There you go.
I did not know that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, well,
I haven't gotten to that.
If that was the best part of this conversation, I failed in my role here. But I guess I'm just here to Duolingo you. But
look, I'm on 515 days, and I've got a few words down. That's about as good as I can do.
But yeah, I mean, like the thing about it's hard for me sometimes to convey this part of who I am as a public figure, right? Because, as you said, a lot of times I'm out there, Paul F. Tompkinsing around,
right?
And there are many assumptions made about me.
Okay.
And even if I talk about like I love rap music,
yeah.
But I host an NPR show where I interview rappers sometimes.
Okay.
Right? But like even if I talk about loving rap music, it can often be seen as an ironic.
Oh.
Not that I don't actually love rap music, but that it's like one of these sort of guys whose like thing was like being into the Wu-Tang Clan and isn't that cute. And it's hard because it is a little cute that I like. You know what I mean? Like, it is. I'm not going to tell you.
You're a man of many, because you're also really into sports, right?
Yeah, I love sports, but like I also. I feel very lucky to be from this place that I'm from, not just San Francisco, but the Mission where I'm from. Because, as much as there was, especially in the peak of crack times, somebody tried to sell me, I remember somebody tried to sell me a rock when I was 10.
Jesus Christ.
But...
how was it?
Also,
good quality?
Yeah. It was really nice. No, it was really nice. Yeah, they cut it with a lot of bullshit these days.
Shit. Yeah.
Back then, that was when it was really... I think the saddest part of that is that I knew that he was trying to sell me crack.
Yeah.
Like, I knew what a rock was. But like, it wasn't just sad. Like, it wasn't just sad at all. Like, in fact, it was... mostly not sad and scary. Like there's sad and scary parts of this, right? But like actually the place where I grew up was, as I said, like it, other than the sadness of the guys in polar fleece vests, and I mean, I guess I'm a podcasting company. Like I guess I count as that guy, but like other than the sadness of them being there, like it remains the most special place in the world to me where I never would have ever in a million years chosen to grow up somewhere else. And, like on my NPR show, Bullseye, I interview many, many artists whose entire world of art is driven by getting out of the constrictions of the place that they are from. Mm-hmm. Whereas, we just did Jordan Jesse Go at Sketchfest, and we had this woman on who's called La Doña, who's a musician. She's from the neighborhood, and she's a little younger than me. And we were talking about how, like, everyone she also went to the same public arts high school I did.
Oh.
And we were talking about how, like, everyone we know, like, there's some people have OD'd, but other than that, they're either working artists or, like, run after school programs.
Oh.
And
that's
like,
amazing. It sounds like you came from a really special place, actually.
I mean, it's
cool.
Artistic. I will speak of this a little bit elliptically because it is not... It is not announced yet, but I don't think Publishers Weekly listens to this show. Not to diminish the... I know some people at Kirkus Reviews do, but...
Kirkus loves us.
Yeah. Library Weekly or whatever that's called. But, like, I wrote this story, a kid's story, that is about a kid whose parents get in a fight. And it's not... It might end up explicit in illustrations, but in the text it's not necessarily explicit that they're apart, but the parents are not together. That was my experience. And so there's this big fight, and the kid kind of slips out the back door. And he walks around the neighborhood. And, you know, he goes to the liquor store, and the woman at the liquor store gives him a root beer because he looks thirsty. And he goes past the bookstore, and the guy from the bookstore gives him a book that he's been saving for him. And you know, he goes past the park, and his baseball coach is there mowing, and asks him if he needs anything. And he goes to in the church, takes a seat in the churchyard, and the priest is the one who ultimately calls his parents. And going through all of these different stops, each person takes care of him in a different way. And in the end, his father comes and picks him up and takes him to his mother. And that was the experience for me of being in my neighborhood. Was the experience, you know, it was a city in the late 20th century. It's not like it was like we were all on each other. It was, you know, it's not like it was like West Side Story. We were all on the stoop singing together or something. But rather that like I had two single parents who both really loved me, but were just trying to get by and had their own stuff that they were dealing with, major stuff they were dealing with. And so it was the generous way to put it would be independent.
Yeah. Yep.
And the place that I am from is what took care of me. So like my friends' parents, and all these people that are in this story that I wrote, you know, they're all just people that were in my neighborhood who loved and cared for me.
Yeah.
Even if they were, you know, there was a station agent at the BART station, the subway station, and I took the subway to school. And like that station agent had my mom's phone number, and she knew about when I came through and would have called if I didn't.
Wow.
Right? Or like, you know, the thing with the book, like this guy, Andrew, he's got a store called Adobe Books in San Francisco that used to be on 16th Street. I think they moved it. But Andrew would really like, as you said, I like sport. I love baseball especially. And Andrew would, when he used bookstore, when he got baseball books in, he would like run me down on the street, like run out of his store, run me down on the sidewalk when I'm, you know, 10 years old or whatever. And he'd be like, oh, I just got this Ted Williams book. Do you want to borrow it? Just bring it back when you're done.
That is so sweet.
So sweet.
And all of those people that, when you're in a community like that, like, people talk all the time about, you know, small town America, whatever. Or about it being scary and dangerous in the city. And like my experience of growing up in the city was very much the opposite. Like there was the bad, scary parts, for sure. But my experience was that I was in a place where I was always with people.
Right.
It was people that I knew from being in this community, right?
No, it makes sense because it's like I grew up in the suburbs. It's, you know, I wasn't walking down the street ever.
Yeah.
And running into people I knew. That was just not something that happened.
And I still feel more at home walking down the street than I do in my own house. And again, that probably speaks to my various traumas. But
that led you to being on our show, and we can't thank you enough for being here. This was really funny and also very touching and fascinating. And
thank you.
I can't wait to read the book. It sounds really good.
We'll see if there is a book. No one knows. No one knows if that book exists.
No, we don't know. It's just something in your head.
At some point, someone might write to Publishers Weekly to tell them to announce something. But at this point, we don't know whether anything exists.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jesse.
Well, thank you guys so much.
We will be right back with What Did We Learn Today?
Want to teach your kids financial literacy, but not sure where to start? Greenlight can help. With Greenlight, parents can keep an eye on kids' spending and saving, while kids and teens use a card of their own to build money confidence. As a parent, you can send instant money transfers, set up chores, automate allowance, and more. It's a convenient way to run your household, customized to your family's needs, and the easy way to raise financially smart kids. Get started with Greenlight today and get your first month free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This podcast is brought to you by eHarmony, the dating app to find someone you can be yourself with. Why doesn't eHarmony allow copy and paste in first messages? Because you are unique, and your conversations should reflect that. eHarmony wants you to find someone who will get you. How are you going to know who gets you if people send you the same generic conversation starters they message everyone else? Conversations that actually help you get to know each other. Imagine that. Get who gets you on eHarmony. Sign up today.
Kristine.
Yeah.
Are you ready to learn what we learned today?
Yeah.
Okay. Tapestries were ubiquitous in the castles and churches of the late medieval and Renaissance eras. At a practical level, they provided a form of insulation, which they did talk about, and decoration that could be easily transported.
Mm-hmm.
Lydia Hearst is Patty Hearst's daughter. Oh, not granddaughter, daughter. She and Chris Hardwick married in 2016 and welcomed a daughter in 2022. I did not know that.
Congrats.
Conch on Earth is Philomena Conch's epic landmark mockumentary on civilization, tracing humanity-kind's journey from prehistory to the present day. Watch on Netflix. So that's her real name?
No, I Googled it.
Okay.
It's a fake name.
Okay, I figured. I was like, there's no way Philomena Conch is a real name. Extreme street fight, remain calm. You got served is a popular phrase from the 2000s used to call a person out. It is typically said to emphasize how a person was just dissed. The phrase is often used in real life, but can appear in texting or online conversations. In the hip-hop world of street dancing, you got served means someone outdid you. Okay, I knew that about the you got served, but I thought like serving is a different... Like she's serving.
Yes.
Like, yes. I think it might even be sort of a RuPaul kind of drag queen kind of thing.
That just means you're doing appearing better than
okay. Get in a boxer stance, and they'll either think you're a serious fighter or they'll laugh. Either way, fight might be over.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, use whatever you can as a weapon, even if it's your pokey fingers.
Tampons.
Oh my God. How could you? You could strangle someone with a string if you tied them together.
I was thinking just pull them out of your purse and like throw them.
Yes.
You know, because they might just be horrified by it. Or
and a man just might be, ew, ew, ew.
Yes. It's going to be a man.
Yeah. Knees and nuts, kick them and run.
Oh, I love it.
I see a new shirt. The occupation of Alcatraz from November 20th, 1969 to June 11th, 1971 was a 19-month long protest when 89 Native Americans and their supporters occupied Alcatraz Island. The protest was led by Richard Oakes, Lenata Means, and others, while John Trudell served as spokesman, and apparently Benjamin Bratt was part of it.
I bet he was a real cutie.
Oh my God, he was probably the cutest 5-year-old ever.
Right? I can't think of a cute 5-year-old.
Well, that's it for today. And as always, everybody, or did you want to say something else? Patreon.
I would encourage everyone to check out our Patreon. Sign up for any level. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us. And we would love for you to join us on this journey of exclusive membership.
I've never been part of something exclusive before.
Well, here's your chance.
I may have to sign up just so I feel exclusive.
Do it.
Okay, I will. And remember, until next time, remain calm.